It's really good. I think she takes after you.
I don't think so.
You're on.
Hello, how are you this evening? I am so glad that we are here. We're just having too much fun here on the set. So it's good to be here, and welcome to Mid-American Gardener. I'm Dianne Noland, and I teach horticulture, getting ready to for the semester at the University of Illinois in the Crop Sciences Department. So I'll handle perennials or cut flowers. What about the panelists? What are their expertise, and what questions should you ask that they can handle? So let's find out. Let's go to you first, Shane Cultra.
I am Shane Cultra, and I'm the person that probably talks too much, that is always talking, as you witnessed early in the show. I'm one of the owners at Country Arborist Nursery in Urbana and Onarga, Illinois, and I deal all day with different kinds of plants, perennials, annuals, trees, and shrubs, and I get a multitude of questions about that, and I can answer those questions today as well. And we have a question that's a great question. It's about bamboo, and the person needs to know what type of bamboo would I recommend for fencing or a privacy fence, and they want it fast and block out. This is a really common question because people see these things on television, or they go and see this beautiful bamboo fence and they want to do it themselves. But we have in our town of Champaign, we actually have a law or a rule that says you have to register your bamboo with the city before you plant it. And so you have to use a clumping bamboo in our town, and it's probably true with many cities. If you have an existing one, you have to file a permit that says I own one that is spreading, and so I'm grandfathered in. But if you have a new one, you have to let them know. And the best bamboo we found for hardiness and clumping is Fargesia, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's
Can you spell it?
It's Fargesia. And it is a form that does clump, that it doesn't spread very well, and it seems to be pretty hardy down to that -10 area. So it comes back pretty well if you mulch it in. Is it going to give you that big, fast fence that you're looking for? No. But we're not in Belize, and we're not in these areas that it's going to grow super fast. We are in Illinois. But it will come back. It will make a decent clump like a grass, and it will give you that bamboo effect. So it is a nice attempt at what you're looking for, but it's not going to be exactly what you want.
But to register the bamboo, that's very...
It's very invasive that your neighbors will have. So
you know it is if you have to register it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. And next to you, Sandy Mason.
Yeah, I'm Sandy Mason with the University of Illinois Extension. I'm the State Master Gardener Coordinator, and so I handle all kinds of questions, pretty much anything green and growing. And I brought some fun things because, of course, in August and, this time of year, we're thinking about weeds, right? Because it's usually about that time that weeds start popping up. And one of the big things that we talk about all the time on the show and in Extension is just the importance of getting accurate identification. And that may not seem like a big deal, but it really is when it comes, especially things like weeds or pests that Phil often talks about. And then you know what kinds of things you can do. So a good example of that would be something like crabgrass. A lot of people are seeing crabgrass right now. And you can see it's that very characteristic sort of flat growth that it has. But then also this time of year, it starts to have these wonderful little seed heads that makes it very obvious. But the one thing about crabgrass is it's an annual grass. So it has to come back every year from seed. And so you really want to think about the seed. So number one, the big thing is, deal with it before it sets seed. Of course, at this point, it's already setting seed. So it is one of those things that this time of year, we're probably thinking more, either getting this stuff out of there or actually even doing maybe a pre-emergent control, something like that come springtime if it's in your lawn, those kind of things. So dealing with the seeds. When we talk about something like this nut sedge, which kind of looks like a grass, but it actually is a true sedge, this is actually a perennial. So the original plants are going to come back. So, and they also can produce these little nutlet things, and you can also see they actually have some little rhizomes. You can see it's already starting to spread by rhizome. So this is a type of plant, it's perennial, and it has multiple ways to spread. So this is definitely one of those you want to take care of right away the minute you see it. And that would be true with all the weeds, is that if you can deal with them early, and especially before they start setting seed or doing anything like that, whether perennial or whatever. And of course, sedges have edges. If you roll the plant around in your fingers, you'll notice it actually has 3 sides to it. So that's how you can tell it's a sedge, but really deal with this one. I've actually gotten this one in when I had a load of soil come in. So it's not uncommon that you get these little nutlets in the soil. So that would be one thing. So a few other plants, I just sort of brought some other things too. This is a little spurge that's one of those flattened type spurges that we'll often see. And these, as well as crabgrass, they love open soil. So, and they love compacted soil. So generally sort of deal with, why is the soil open? Is my grass just not growing very well, then this is the perfect time to be thinking about reseeding or overseeding or getting some good grass in there and start filling in those holes. A lot of times these plants will also come in like next to the driveway because you get traffic, people are pulling off or whatever, and so you have the really compacted soil. So to deal with the soils, deal with the open lawn area, and then you'll have a lot less weed issues. So that's really good. So think about why it's happening rather than just sort of jump into a herbicide or something like that. I did want to mention this book has been out for a couple of years now, but this is actually really an excellent book on identifying those weeds that are often in lawns and landscapes. And I just really like it because it's easy to use. They have some great pictures in there. They talk about lots of different pictures, so it's easy to identify things using these. And then it gives you a little bit of clues when it comes to things about some control measures, but certainly you can check with Extension. And this is available through the U of I Extension. You can go to Pubs Plus on the website and order this. So, $8.50 I think is what the price tag is on it. So it's really nice. So identify the weeds, and that'll help a lot.
Sedges have edges.
Sedges have edges.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Sure.
And now let's go to Dr. Phil Nixon.
Hi, I'm Phil Nixon. I'm a retired extension entomologist. My area of expertise are insects or bugs or both. I guess they're the same. And I have an email from Norma Stone, and she writes that in 2015 she lost a tulip tree and a crabapple tree, and now the same holes that circled the trunks all the way to the tops of the two trees have appeared in the trunk of a 25-year-old apple tree. It says the circles of holes around the trunk and main limbs are 2 inches apart. What this is caused by yellow-bellied sapsucker, and this is a tremendous photo that shows actually yellow belly on that sapsucker. Most yellow-bellied sapsuckers don't have a yellow belly. It's very hard to see, but they are woodpeckers, and they get more than half of their food from the sap from the tree. And in the Midwest, with Midwestern gardeners, we don't have to worry too much about that bird. It will make nice patterns of holes on the tree. They're not going after borers. They're going after plant sap, and they come through in the very early spring and feed before dawn, and so most people have their window shut and they don't even hear it, and all of a sudden these holes appear out of nowhere, and then they will also come back in the late fall and do the same. Where they spend the winters in Louisiana, they will kill trees, and where they spend the summers having kids in southern Canada and the very far north US, they will kill trees. But in Illinois and the rest of the Midwest, they are just going to be flying through, and they do a little bit of feeding, and because it's just a little bit each year, those holes may be 20 years of damage, but they didn't all get them at the same time, and the tree healed from those. Don't worry about those in the Midwest. What's probably causing harm to our trees is very likely a root problem or something else, most likely a root problem. They may have had girdling roots. That tends to kill trees that are about 25 years old because the root was going around in the bottom of a bucket or the hole, and as the tree grew out and the roots grew, they met each other and the roots strangled the tree. Or it may have been planted too deep to start with. It will take 10, 15 years many times for the tree to die from something like that. So it's probably something that has nothing to do with the holes, and need to be looking at other options.
Okay, very good. Very good description. Okay, we're going to go to the phone lines now. So let's go to Marge's question on line 2 about boxwood. Hi, Marge.
Hi. I'm getting brown spots in my boxwood bushes.
Whole branches or leaves?
Branches.
Branches.
Areas of branches.
Were they there earlier in the year, or did they just show up?
Well, one bush had them last year, and it's got more this year, and it's spreading to the others. I wonder if it's some kind of disease.
Many times when you have brown branches on boxwood, being a broadleaf evergreen, they're very susceptible to water loss, and you can end up having winter burn associated with them. In the little town I lived near, it's always been fun to watch because those boxwoods got winter burn 3 winters ago, and this is the first summer it really looked good that they've grown out from it. And so that can be a factor. There are some diseases of boxwood as well. I'm not really too aware of what those symptoms are, though.
So she could trim that out.
Yeah.
Trim it out, see if it continues to spread. If it does, get some that are partly damaged and send that to the plant clinic for identification and we may be able to find a screen that shows where how to get a hold of a plant clinic.
We might have a plant clinic screen, and if we don't right at this moment, it will be on, hopefully, sometime. And there it is.
And it's also the other thing, just the whole fact is that sometimes that, we had some rain earlier in different areas that really watch, if you've changed anything in the way the gutters are spilling over or something where maybe they've gotten some extra rain or something, or certainly because some flooding can be some issues. So it might be some environmental things. So think back and make sure that nothing's happened in that area, just either through construction or whatever, and just make sure that's not an issue as well.
Okay, well, thank you for your question, Marge. And now let's go to line 3. Linda has a question about Jerusalem artichokes. Hi, Linda.
Hi there. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I have a question. I would like to transplant my Jerusalem artichokes, and I wasn't sure when a good time to do that would be.
Well, I'm going to look at everybody else.
I've never transplanted them, but I can't imagine it being a big issue. They seem to be very prolific when I've ever been around them. I'm never trying to transplant them, but I'm not sure it's anything you can kill, is it?
We inherited one 30 years ago when we bought our house. We have tried to kill it multiple times. It's still doing great. I don't think you can, there can't be a wrong time of the year to transplant Jerusalem artichoke. I almost feel like you could kick on it, kick a piece loose, and then just stomp it into the ground. It would grow. I mean, these things are very hard to kill. I can't believe that they're too hard to transplant.
Yeah.
So let's say, what, about August or September?
Yeah,
we'll give you a definitive answer.
The 26th of August.
Whenever your shovel is in your hand, I would go for it.
I like the answer the 26th of August.
Yeah, that's always the best day.
But, really, anytime the shovel is in your hand. Thank you for that question. And now we've learned a lot about Jerusalem artichokes.
But in reality, it would probably be best to do that in the spring of the year when you're seeing the new growth. And it's not so huge of what you can get around it and get under it and move and dig it out. That's probably would be what I would guess would be the best time.
So for the gardener.
Easier for the,
easier
for the gardener.
Although almost everybody that ever asked me that question wants to do it tomorrow.
Oh, of course.
That's
why
why
they're
they're
okay
asking.
with that plan.
That's what they don't really
true.
want me to tell spring's the best because they got their shovel saying, what time is it? Just to double
and they're
check.
on the phone right then.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your question. And let's go to Pete's question on line 5 about bluegrass. Hi, Pete.
My call. I used to have a beautiful bluegrass lawn. Now it's being invaded by, I call it watergrass. I don't know if that's the correct name or not. How in the world can I get that out there and control it so I can have a good lawn again? Also, in my landscape rocks, now I have a weed there. It's like lace, like a lace and spreading everywhere. If you could give me a clue on how to, control them both, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with the terminology watergrass is that there's a bunch of plants that people call watergrass. Because sometimes people call crabgrass watergrass, sometimes people call but the one that I've seen probably most often that people call watergrass is tall fescue, but it's the pasture type tall fescue, and it is a perennial grass. And so I'm assuming this is probably what's going on is that you see this grass that has a much wider leaf blade than the bluegrass, and it tends to be much coarser, kind of clumpy. And so the overall look of it, even though it's green, it still looks very different than bluegrass, and that's usually what people end up calling watergrass. So number one, again, make sure we have the proper identification. So how do you get rid of watergrass? So unfortunately, any of these perennial type grassy weeds in lawns are really tough to take care of. We really don't have good, really selective herbicides that will take out that watergrass and not also take out your bluegrass. So there are some things that are available to some professional landscapers or lawn care folks, but generally for most of us, we're not going to have that available to us. And you probably aren't going to want to hear this, but what you can do, dig it out. I know that doesn't sound very exciting. You can also spot treat it, and again, spot treat it with a non-selective broadleaf herbicide or herbicide. So it'd be things like the glyphosate, which is in Roundup and a whole bunch of other products. And then once it dies, then you can reseed or resod that area. So we just don't have a lot of good answers for you when it comes there. But I will tell you, tall fescue is a tough grass, and generally when it comes in and the turf grass and the bluegrass itself isn't growing very well, then often you see the watergrass starts to take over because it's just much happier year when we don't have a whole lot of water, or if you're not fertilizing very much, those kind of things. So I'm not sure that's necessarily the answer you want to hear, but unfortunately that's what's probably going to happen. The other thing, the lacy thing, I wonder in the landscape if it's not something like poison hemlock, I wonder. Yeah. You certainly get poison hemlock, almost looks like a little ferny thing.
Did you see how tall it was?
Yeah, we didn't hear, but when poison hemlock actually gets quite tall when it's in flower, but it's a biennial, so the first year, you know, it's fairly short, and actually it's kind of pretty, as this kind of lacy kind of foliage to it. So I wonder if it's not poison hemlock that you're seeing, and that would be one that you definitely obviously want to get rid of. But I would definitely, just knowing that it's lacy, it'd probably be a good one to really get a good identification on it, on really what's going on. But that would be my first guess.
So
I mean, it could
he
be
could
yarrow,
take that to his local closest
absolutely.
extension.
You could certainly take it to your local extension office, or take some pictures.
Take a picture and send it
like
here.
That. Yeah, take some pictures
Buy
and
the
send
book.
it here.
Buy the book.
Buy the book.
Okay.
Those kind of things. So hopefully that helps a little
Lots
bit.
of good questions there, and thank you for your call. Let's go next to Carol's question on line 4, and it's about a white oak. Hi, Carol.
Hi. I'm pretty sure it's a white oak. I don't have any firmer classification than that. It's certainly not a bur oak. Anyway, it's about 30 years old, and it never has been. It periodically, the leaves sort of dry up and look a little sickly. And this year, several of the smaller branches have died completely. They died earlier in the summer. The leaves are curled, they're unattractive, and we just don't know what's wrong with it. A 30-year-old tree, what do you do with it? And I don't see any bugs on the tree, but I do see little spots on the back of the leaves. So anything you could suggest, and I know I should take it to the plant clinic, but in the meantime...
She beat us to that one.
But in the meantime,
in the meantime, if there's any ideas that you have, I would certainly appreciate it.
Are the leaves turning brown from the tip back? Have you looked that close?
Pretty much from the tip back, although the leaf also tends to curl. So, you know, but it's been doing this for a couple of years, but it's just real bad this year.
So does it actually leaf out? So those branches, when you say that, you know, there's damage and the leaves don't look all that great, do those branches actually leaf out again come springtime, or does the branch, are you actually seeing branch die back, or the whole branch is dying?
I think the whole branch is dying.
But I mean, it doesn't, because sometimes, you know, especially this time of year, sometimes you get some leaf diseases and stuff, and the leaves look horrible, but the branch is still alive.
No, I'm pretty sure that the branch, they're the thinner branches. They're not the great big branches, but the smaller branches tend to look like they're dead, and when you scrape them, they don't look real good.
So certainly, you know, it sounds like it would be a really good candidate for the U of I plant clinic.
And in fact, it may be, sounds like it could be bacterial leaf scorch.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
And for a $25 fee, by the end of this month, by the end of August, I should say, they analyze for bacterial leaf scorch once a year, and that's at the end of August. And so that's a way to tell. I just took in some leaves from my swamp white oak, which sounds a lot like what you're talking about as well, earlier in the week, for them to analyze and find out what it is I've got and what my options are.
Okay, so I guess in the meantime, it is to go to the plant clinic to make sure.
Science in this case.
Make
Yeah,
sure.
and the bacterial leaf spot leaf scorch does tend to die back from the end of the leaf down the leaf. So that's a clue that might be it, but there are other things as well.
Yeah. And I think we should always remember with trees and stuff, it's just, you know, generally what goes a long way is just good maintenance practices. You know, water during drought period. You know, even on a 30-year-old tree, you know, if you haven't had any rain for a while, I definitely do something about that, and actually, you know, maybe water it, you know, mulch it, those kind of things that really go back to the basics when it comes to just proper tree health and maintenance. I think it goes a long way on a lot of these issues too. So don't forget about that as well. But it sounds like the plant clinic's the
It sounds like that
option.
might be your really good way to go. All right, let's go to Kathy's question on line 6 about coneflowers. Hello, Kathy.
Hi. I have very well-established pink coneflowers. They come up every year like crazy, and they bloom and they bloom and they bloom. one of the plants all of a sudden quit getting the pink leaves on it, and it got all of these odd growths instead of the cone. It had like things that almost look like mushrooms going. It looks very strange, and I probably should bring it into the plant clinic too. But I don't know what could have caused it. I don't use chemicals. I don't do anything, to it, and it's just the one plant. So, any ideas?
Do the growths look like they might be tiny little green plants growing out of the heads of the coneflower?
Yes.
That may be areophyid mites. Areophyid spells like it sounds, to me at least. E-R-I-O-P-H-Y-I-D, areophyid mites. And there's really no spray for it or anything of that nature. Sanitation is your best bet. When you see those showing up, you clip off those heads and destroy them, get them away from the other area. However, there are some genetic abnormalities that we've learned about in the last couple years, which will cause very similar types of appearance, but they don't look like little tiny leaves. They look a little less formed than that coming out when it's that genetic abnormality. Still, removing that part is probably your best bet.
Do you get those at the nursery?
Aster yellows.
Aster yellows will also do that sort of thing.
Yeah, aster yellow is a huge problem in coneflower, and we recommend disposing of the plant. Okay. Because it spreads through the mites to the other plants, and eventually all your plants will look like that.
The aster yellows is a virus, so it's going to move like Shane's saying.
So yeah, if it's aster yellow, we get rid of the plant. We've had whole sections get it quickly, so we dispose of them. But yeah, it's not a good thing. At first, we thought we had this new coneflower that we were going to be millionaires with this great new furry head, and it's not a good thing. So you really need to get at least rid of the head of the...
So is this a plant clinic thing as well?
I think, to be honest with you, I think the plant clinic is going to make an educated guess, and we just did that.
And we just did
that. But if you have a beautiful...
It's going to be this or this or this.
If you have a big grouping of it, and that's just your only one, I would just get rid of that one. It'll fill in with the other one.
They'll reseed and it'll fill in.
Okay. Very good, and do it right away, it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't think there are any definitive tests to determine any of these very well.
That's what I was wondering.
Particularly ones that are very inexpensive.
Okay. Well, we have a question about tomatoes, and I wanted to go to that one next. Line 2 with Mark. Hi there.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
I have a friend who has a pink hybrid tomato, and it looks wonderful on the outside, but when they cut into it, there's nothing in there. It's hollow. There's no meat. It looks like a skeleton, and then the seeds are in it like a gel. Can you tell me what would cause that?
Do they all look that way?
It's just
of that variety.
It's one tomato, one variety.
Well, there are some stuffing type tomatoes. I mean, is it not supposed to look? There are some stuffing type tomatoes that have more of that open center. I don't know. Do you know of anything that actually causes it besides
and an heirloom one would be more likely a stuffing one.
Yeah,
if that's an heirloom, I don't know.
So it could be, unless you know that that's not the way it's supposed to be. I'd be checking, if you have the name, maybe to check and see what the normal case is for that particular variety.
Could it be a water deficiency along with it, or is it just the type?
Yeah, but you'd think something like that would be, maybe you'd have a few of those that are like that.
And the outside
but then the rest of them would be...
Exactly.
Yeah, and then the rest of them would be normal or whatever, but...
So trace the history of what the tomato
I'd be asking that question.
Generally water deficiency will just result in small tomatoes.
Yeah, it might be the type. I looked for hours on my cucumbers having problems, and turned out I had an heirloom round yellow.
So it was supposed to be, right?
And it was the whole time it was a lemon drop, and so I spent hours trying to figure out how to cure my cucumber. So you just have
a different
to look for
seed packet?
You got to know what normal is.
Know a little bit more.
It's hard to cure your genes. That's all it is.
All right. Now, we want to go to the interesting plant that you have, Shane.
Oh, yeah. The one that's been sitting behind me the whole time. So this is a newer type of Weigela. And Weigela is generally a pretty easy plant to grow, although sometimes winter can be a little hard on it. But what I like about Weigela is it takes well to trimming, and it shapes really well, and you can normally keep it in check. And this color has really caught my eye. It's called Sonic Bloom Red, and it comes in a couple of different colors, but the red to me stands out better than any of the other ones. It's 4 feet by 4 feet, so it's just a really nice size, and you can keep it at 3 feet with maybe 15 minutes of trimming a year. And you know, it's all about the beauty when it comes to plants. And anytime, you know, I see plants all day, and when I see a shrub that catches my eye and I always stop and look at it, I think it's pretty special. And this one's Sonic Bloom Red is definitely one that I like.
And I think the foliage is really pretty on it. Actually, you know,
Yeah.
and even when it's not in bloom, it really has a nice
And this
nice
year has
clean
been,
foliage.
you prove what looks tired and what doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know, at the nursery, our job is to keep things looking great, but when it does not rain for months on end, we struggle to keep everything looking perfect. And this thing's really looked good the whole time. So, and my Monet, as we talked about, does not look good. So we picked this out. Yeah, it's another type.
Which makes me think that people might want to visit their local nursery.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn about
it. And see in a year when it's been so dry.
If it looks good now, then it's probably going to look good when things are good.
And you can probably grow it really well if it's looking good, you know, in the nursery. So
because there may be more like this in the future.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We are so glad you did, and thanks for being here and all of your expertise. We hope to see you next week. Have a great week gardening. Goodbye.